So it sounds like a lot of people, if I were to pull and kind of summarize, so very new to the Filecoin community. And look, this is a really deep rabbit hole to go down. And it's filled with excitement, intrigue, challenges. Thank you. And before you go down that rabbit hole, like what I want to inform you on first and foremost is just who you're going down that rabbit hole with. And we have some really interesting people. And I want to bring this quote that I love from Mark Yusko, who's a CEO, founder of Morgan Creek Digital. They're a big Web3 investor. He said, "The greatest wealth is created by being an early investor in innovation. Making that investment requires believing in something before the majority of people understand it. You will be mocked and ridiculed for your non-consensus action. It is absolutely worth it." Mark gave this talk and made this quote at a recent event we had in Las Vegas last year. He's a Filecoin investor, and it's really apropos for investing in Filecoin. If you don't believe that you're early or that you're crazy, just go to any Web2 conference, AWS, reInvent, Hewlett Packard, VMware. You're going to realize just how much on the forefront you are. Then this next quote from another Filecoin investor, Kyle Samani, managing director and founder of Multicoin Capital. If you are in Web3, hopefully you've heard of Multicoin. And I love this quote too, where Filecoin is the most technically ambitious thing in all of crypto, full stop. I don't think second place is particularly close, and that is very underappreciated by everyone in the world, including myself. And why I want to start with these two quotes is because when you enter Filecoin and you work with the people in this ecosystem, there is a like-minded values, interests, and beliefs that have brought very talented people into this ecosystem. These are people who have been distinguished engineers at top big tech firms. These are entrepreneurs who have been shackled by the jobs and security of big tech, and this finally allowed them to break free onto their own and really push the envelope of hardware, software, storage, and everything else that makes this ecosystem work. And I'm telling you, once you go down this rabbit hole, what keeps you here is the ability to work with all these smart individuals from across the globe. I can't tell you how much hardware innovation is going on in Filecoin. These are people pushing the bounds of what hardware and storage can do and deploying that in interesting ways. You just heard from Nandit, how he's building software that supports the ecosystem. Everyone can play a role. It is permissionless. You can craft your own value proposition, your own business models, and it will be supported by the ecosystem. That's what's great about an open and decentralized ecosystem. If you have good tech, you don't need to get a blessing from a Google to be successful. You can just go and do it and let the market dictate your success for you. So I want to just give you up to speed for those of you who are new to Filecoin, just curious about Filecoin. Where are we? And I want to bring up my favorite, the adoption lifecycle. And I want to couch this by saying, I think Bitcoin is right here. Yeah. I think that's what you're seeing today. Prices going crazy. But with the ETFs, you had regulatory clarity from the major U.S. government. You had access to institutional investors, and you had a tokenizable asset, which was digital gold. And that has allowed Bitcoin to cross the proverbial chasm. And so everyone else in Web3 is trying to figure out, how do we cross the chasm? Where are we on this life cycle? And my take on this, I know it might be not universal, a little bit controversial, but I think we're right here in the revisionaries. Since mainnet launch, we've done a lot of progression, a lot of building, a lot of growth, and it's been great. But let's not get ahead of ourselves that we're here. We are not. But what we have here is people building real businesses, real technology, finding ways to win at scale, which attract bigger logos, bigger deals, more data, more capabilities, and a lot of things that we need to grow a business. So how do you cross the chasm? When you have an undeniable ecosystem of profitable businesses with impressive compound annual growth rates. Web3 hasn't changed the fundamentals of business. You need cash flows, you need investability for you to maintain larger scale adoption. Facebook was no different, neither was Google. This is an evolution every business or tech company goes through. And we are on the precipice of, putting the foundation in place that we can begin to compete with public cloud on a global scale. So what's happening in Filecoin? There is a ton happening in Filecoin, and I don't have enough time to really break it down for everything that we're doing that you need to know about. But if I were to simplify this statement of where we are today, as we're preparing our leap across the chasm, it's we're building there's software. You met Nondit last time. There are so many other Nondits across the globe trying to make Filecoin more accessible, more usable, more integrated with different software platform solutions to make Web3 available and Filecoin as a decentralized storage layer available to anyone who wants to interact with our network. We have sellers. Jen King's in the back of the room. dstore.com is someone you need to know about, but what they're doing is they're going out there and finding people who want decentralized storage. And not only that, we have MSPs, system integrators from across the globe, putting this into their portfolio of sales opportunities and driving client interests to put data onto the network because of the value proposition that Filecoin represents. And then finally, we have a lot of work that we're doing with AI. Everything you've seen this week is AI. It's everywhere you go. You can't escape it in tech. And luckily, Filecoin is in a great position to complement all the growth in AI. John Sykerbike, are you in this room still? Or did he bail on me? Oh, there you are. That's it. He gave me a quote this week that I love, which is, in any new technology evolution, there's a hype cycle, and in this case, it's AI. But what you need to realize the value of any new technological innovation is you need the entire stack to mature with it. And it's only when the entire stack has the same level of maturity that NVIDIA is putting out there today, as an example, will you realize the full value of an innovation. And when you look at AI, it will never reach its potential without the data storage layer matching what the chips can produce. Data is the oxygen that AI needs for it to really flourish and become truly mainstream. So while all this innovation is occurring, data storage is a component to it, and that's where Filecoin plays a great role and is well positioned to capitalize on all the growth and interest in AI. And then that's a whole nother rabbit hole you can go down, which is super exciting. So where is Filecoin? We are progressing through its maturity life cycle. Filecoin's been around for over 3 years. And through that 3 years, we've gone through the challenges of, what it was like to do a token launch. Businesses and storage providers and software providers getting experience, going through the hardships of a crypto bear market. You have to figure out ways to sustain your operations and continue to grow. And our ecosystem, unlike a lot of other L1s, have gone through those hard experiences. They've been trialed by fire, if you will. And it's because of that experience, the ones who remain are the ones who have strong sense of business models, great allocation of capital, are running efficiently to a point where they can scale and grow with our ecosystem and can capitalize on all that growth. And I always look at other L1s because, every one of us is making a choice. Do I invest my time and interest in something like Filecoin, or do I go to another L1, L0, L2, where I can devote my time and interests? And, so much of that is hype. They are not building businesses to the degree and the maturity that Filecoin has already proven to obtain. And if you get to know the entrepreneurs who are in our ecosystem and who have been here for a while, you too will see what I do on a daily basis, that these are people in it for the long term with similar visions, goals, interests, and values as everyone else. Some examples of where we're saying dstore.com, go there, go check it out. This is a way that we're driving organic leads into the ecosystem and putting those leads, qualifying them, directing them into our ecosystem. These are fiat cash flows where it makes it very easy for clients to get their data onto the network. We have Steel Dome and their InfiniVault project. This is like a classic Web 2.5 play where how can you offer all tiers of data storage, anti-ransomware, disaster recovery, and more of a solution sales for those clients looking for more of a holistic data solution versus just archival. And they make it easy for Web 2 companies in particular to just begin to allocate some of their archival storage into Web 3. We have Ghost Drive, which is just renamed Nera.ai, where you can do generative AI with all your data, whether at an organization level or an individual level, where that data is put on IPFS and archived automatically for you into Filecoin. So you're getting a whole new aspect of like, how can you do AI that is natively built on top of Filecoin? We heard from Lighthouse, definitely follow up with Nandit if you have any questions, but not like, this is just so easy to get started, to move your data onto the network without having to deal with all the hassles and the complexities that you may not want to if you, to be a Filecoin storage provider would have to go through. So I work with the Filecoin Foundation. So how are we helping? And what we want you to know at the foundation is that in this ecosystem, in this community, you are never alone. Working with Filecoin is very difficult and confusing. And it's nice to have someone riding shotgun with you most of the time. We don't make judgments on how good your product is. We look to help everyone realize their full value of their business model. And we have teams that will help with design, testing, solutioning, connections, anything and everything you need to do to get to market to realize the potential of the business you're looking to start. And that's one of the key aspects of not feeling alone. Every one of us is sitting in a home, office, or around the globe, and it's very easy to feel disconnected in the Web3 space. And our goal of the foundation is to make you feel connected, get access to the other people that can help you out. And if anything and everything we can do to support you on that journey, we're willing to do. So that's connection, that's enablement, that's conviction. So much of it is like, I need help with this as well. It's volatile. You don't feel like you have all the information. And like, how do we maintain the conviction you have to what you're building and the value you're creating? We all need like a little Web3 therapist now and then. And my couch is always open for those of you who need it. If you look at our 2024 priorities, it's really about creating a roadmap and a funnel to support large-scale business growth and enterprise adoption. We need an army of sellers. We need software that makes it easy. We need S3 compatibility so we can ingest all types of data, make it easy to get it onto the network. We need orchestration layers that optimize the efficiency, how the network works. And then we need an array of geographically dispersed storage providers to make sure that all that data can get into the network without very seamlessly, without any friction. We have multiple players in innovating and developing, building in each one of these categories, but it's these people that are really driving the network forward. And when you look at those building in all these areas, what you'll see is extremely decentralized. Filecoin Foundation isn't doing any of this. We support everyone doing this. Protocol Labs isn't doing this. They support everyone who's doing this. So when you dive into the who's who of each of these categories, you'll realize just how decentralized Filecoin really is. And then there's AI. I know this week is all about AI, but I love what Arthur Hayes, if you know Arthur, he's a longtime crypto OG. He's an investor in Filecoin. He said, when you look at what AI is going to need from a data storage perspective, AI is going to seek out storage opportunities that are programmable, immutable, verifiable, with no single point of failure. An AI isn't going to negotiate with a Google GCP sales rep on what their storage contract looks like. They're going to use an algorithm to automatically search out what the best option is going to be, and program will just push that data to the archival layer that meets their requirements. And the single point of failure and control over your data is really where Filecoin is set up to thrive in this type of ecosystem. That's what IPFS enables, like the content identifiers, gives you control to always be able to move your data into the places where it makes sense in cases of failure. It's never a single point of lock-in where you don't experience outages. And just having that control over your data is going to become, I think, a paramount thing going forward. In the Bitcoin world, they talk about when you give your money to a bank, the bank, it's no longer your money. The bank gives you an IOU and you have access to that money, but the money is now the bank's. And I feel like that's the case with public cloud. When you give your data to the public cloud, it's no longer your data, it's their data. They're just providing you access to it. And that's what decentralized storage in the Filecoin ecosystem is really all about. If you haven't gotten connected to the community, I encourage you to do so. We have tons of content going out, tons of events, tons of announcements, enablement. There's Slack, there's Twitter, X, and we always encourage you to start with the docs. And whether you're a storage provider, a software provider, a service provider, a seller, or something else we haven't thought of, we're always here looking to learn what you're up to, what your vision is, and how we can help. With that, thank you.